Hey everyone, we're about to start Valley of a Thousand Devils trailhead in Saskatchewan, a couple miles away from Montana. We're gonna see what kind of wildlife we can see. There's lots of prairie dogs around. I'll show some of the signage as we walk. Out here in the grassland, we still got a little river here with some lily pads. There's a lot of prairie dogs. These ones are pretty friendly. Even the ones along the roads are pretty friendly. We stop, they come out to see us. I think the trail actually starts up here. There's a larger loop here. Doesn't seem too exciting. I'll make sure the signs here focus in if anyone wants to pause and read it. Honestly, the sun is so bright I can barely even read it here. Lots of prairie dog holes all over the place. So the trail starts officially in another 500 meters. Rock Creek Trail. It's probably fun. It's really hot out here. We brought some sunscreen, some water. Once we get to the trailhead, I'll be able to show the official length of it. I heard it's 11 kilometers round trip. Look at this, everyone. Got a bird right here. So Google tells us to walk down through here, but we hit a fence. So I guess we'll try staying on this main trail. They kind of ripped this part up, I guess, maybe to show us not to go down there. All right, everyone. They've been doing some trail work, moving trails around, blocking ones off. You see all these trails here are brand new. And this here also looks pretty brand new. See how it's barely worn in? New signs, new white posts. We're about to follow all those white posts through the grassland. We just walked the long way around this circle. If you look at it from satellite images, there's a circle here, which you have to walk halfway either way. That adds the 1 kilometer. Now it's another 10 kilometers. Is it round trip or one way? I don't think it matters because I've done 20 miles in a day and that's like 12 round trip. I don't think it matters either way. It's actually a pretty cool day. Don't need too much water. As we're walking on the trail, there's lots of hoof marks in the dirt. You think it's wild bison which live in here? Or do you think it's cows? Maybe bison, because on our way in we went over multiple cattle guards to keep something in here. There's no service out here. Very weak service on the way in, so it's possible when we get to the top of these hills. All right, everyone, this is a different trail, old wagon trail, but we've made it 1/10 of the way, it appears. Still a lot of prairie dog holes, but we're not really seeing any of them. Now we're about to walk into some shrubs, maybe even a dried up creek. Looks like it could be down here. Looks like on the map we'll have to cross it at some point. And there's another bird. Is it gonna fly away? The creatures don't have too much fear, it looks like. There's a whole bunch of different trails that come out of here. And look how far this trail's going. All the way down there. That's pretty nice looking. Look at that. Bright orangish yellow lichen on these rocks. We just crossed over the dried up creek bed. Still lots of tracks here from what I think is bison. Now we're going around another corner. And here's a whole nother dried up creek bed. There's people mountain biking. That's a good idea. It's a perfect trail for it. Alrighty everyone, over there is another creek which I can see water flowing in it. I hope we get to see it. There's a little green snake. Just a simple grass snake. Look at that. Little grass snake. Not venomous. I hope we get to cross that water. It'll be nice. It's probably warm. But I was able to just ask the bikers and they said that this is gonna fork off and it's a 10-kilometer loop. So that makes this about a 12-kilometer hike total. I'm now realizing the tracks on the trail, I think people were riding horses because some of them that are more clear, I can clearly see horseshoe marks. Look at this giant anthill. I'll show up close, some of them coming out. Look at that. A lot of red ants. Big anthill. Lots and lots of prairie dog holes. But we haven't seen any since the parking lot. And the trail here just goes up and down right on the edge. I'm really hoping we get close to that creek. But so far, not happening. What's that object way out there? Trying to zoom in on it. There it is. It's like a box or a barrel. Look at this, we got some nice cactuses. Some awesome rock. Look how it's just shattering apart. Be great for skipping. There's no water around here. This grass is really pretty. There was areas we were walking and driving by. It's just full of valleys of this really pretty grass. Let's see if there's water. I see cattails and stuff. Just puddles. Just a few puddles. But if we did bring like our life straw, we could get a little drink out of that. I kind of want to go over to the edge and see if there's anything down there like a frog. I don't see anything. There's a bit more water here. It's not flowing though. A lot of cattails, stagnant pools. It'd be really cool to do this hike after a heavy rainstorm. The past couple of days in this area, there's a torrential downpour basically every single night. Not long lasting, but it happens. Just quick storms that come through for like 10 minutes. Ooh, there is a snake in the water swimming. Right in the middle of the screen. Right there. I just saw it swimming. It's a pretty long one. What is it? I can barely see the screen in the sun. Do we have a rattler? We get a little closer. Right down there. It's got a long yellow stripe taking a still picture that I can Google Lens when we have a signal. Finally, we made it into the woods, but there's no shade. I see the trail going all the way up on that ridge. It's a long loop because we already went through the Y. All right, now we're starting to gain a little bit more elevation. At least that means on the way back, it'll have to go down somewhere. I see a bunch of footprints. People were doing this in the mud, but it's quickly dried up since the thunderstorms last night. We're about to have really good views. Look at that. We're about to gain even more elevation. This area, I wonder if they manually planted this. Looks like a landslide. Take a look at this trail here. We just walked all of those markers, and now on the other side, it's getting a lot more hilly. We just had a lot of uphill. Now we're about to go downhill on this trail. All right, everyone. It got very windy here. That feels good. It's hot, and the sun just went behind a cloud. Now we're climbing up here on this highest point to try to get a good view. It is pretty steep up here, but not very high. So that's the trail. Just goes out there to the end. Everything here that they call the Devils is pretty round. In the United States, the Devils Park, they're more like steep points. Now you see the two trails here? They're not connecting. One is the way you come in, one is the way you leave. So that's our way out, the one going down there. And there's a bunch of random offshoot trails that aren't official running through it. Look how round some of these hills are. All right, everyone, we thought that was the end of the trail going up on that, but we were like, it's not showing enough. And I noticed another trail here continuing, which doesn't have the markers. And at the end of this is where it says the old trail used to go. So we're taking this because it looks more exciting. Adds a little bit of time. It looks like it's an actual road. Somebody's been driving a vehicle up at one point. This is beautiful. I'm so glad we took the longer trail that's not marked. This is where the old map brings you. The new trail markers that go in that loop will get you to this junction, but you gotta walk a bit further. And there's even more trails to explore. See that down there? Could be animals, but I think those are switchbacks for people. Be cool to be here during a rainstorm. But now I think we're walking out to this little point, and I gotta check maps again to see if that's actually the very end. Really, really steep here. Do you see some trails down there? All right, everyone, we're on our way back. We got these large, flat, grassy areas. And there's that rock that we thought was the very end. Almost back to that. If we can see the parking lot of where we came from, I believe. Yeah, I think that's it. We've got to make our way all the way back there. All right, everyone, we're back on the loop. That's the way we came in. This is the way we're leaving. Look how close together the trails are, but they're not cutting. Time to go back. About 2 hours back. Mostly downhill this time. There's a couple stairs on the trail. Here's a faraway shot of the trail, the stairs over there. I can hear some prairie dogs making some warning calls. Few birds around. There's a lot of flying grasshoppers making loud clicking sounds. All right, everyone, we've completed the loop at the end. Now we're back on the trail that heads back to that gravel loop. We still probably got 90 minutes of walking. This is so cool. Look at all these tiny little cactuses. Hundreds of them all around here. So cool. And for now, it's actually nice. We have a cold breeze. Sun's behind a cloud. Over there, some vehicles on their way in to the visitor center. It's a lot further away than it looks. I'm zooming in now 10 times. And this trail's not exactly straight. It zigzags and it follows the edges of the valleys. Because these areas, when it rains, would probably flood quite fast. A lot of clay, doesn't absorb very well. I think you'd call these things I'm calling streams washes. The ones that aren't usually flowing. Look at that, everyone. We got a bird right there. Pretty close. As we were walking by, the bird flew away, but what do you think? Does the bird sit there often?